Introduce yourself and tell me why you're here tonight in WVTF's space.
My name is Drake Duffer. I'm from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I got this gig from, I was on the Martha Bassett Show, which is a show that they syndicate, and it was, somebody saw me there and brought me here. It's a beautiful space and a lovely drive from Winston.
So you came specifically to do this today?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how would you describe yourself? What kind of artist are you?
Well, I studied classical guitar professionally in college and grad school, and then a lot of the stuff that I write is sort of a classical folk fusion thing, I guess is the closest I would come to.
It was very interesting, and then a couple of the tunes kind of really leapt about, and it's like, you want to throw in some things to spice it up? How do you decide what your set is?
Well, a lot of it has to do with what I'm currently working on, which is kind of funny. Usually by the time I put music out, I'm not playing it as much live anymore.
Right,
which is sort of a problem for
I
people
heard
going
that
to
song.
listen
Hey,
to
do that song I heard on...
Can I go listen to that? No, but you can listen to stuff I didn't play tonight, you know. But it's that's usually just the things that I'm really into. I think it feels more authentic to share the stuff that I've been very excited about
I was curious about your origins. Did you decide you needed lessons, or did your parents decide you needed lessons?
Oh, well, I was, when I was a little kid, I really wanted to play guitar. My dad played folk guitar for me.
Okay, so you had a good influence around you.
I was very excited to play guitar, to the point where they couldn't find a guitar small enough for me when I was 3 or 4 years old and really wanted to. So I took Suzuki violin for a couple of years before I was big enough for the smallest guitar they could find.
Oh, yeah. Can you get over to the...
But so I was very into it from a super early age.
And then what led you to where you are now? I mean, you must have got some influence on the way.
Yeah.
I mean, some things that really pushed you.
Honestly, the biggest thing was growing up in Winston-Salem, the public institution of the UNC School of the Arts, and the high school program being free, and so many incredible musicians living there because of the school, was such a great atmosphere for me. And I ended up taking lessons from some of the people that studied classical guitar, and then I could go to high school for classical guitar there, and I fell in love with it there. Oh my God! So it was kind of a testament to giving kids resources to find the things.
And you probably had a lot of influences because a lot of people come through there. I mean, that's a big area.
Yeah,
Greensboro, Winston-Salem, Charlotte.
It was definitely an extremely beneficial thing to be in an area where I had a lot of exposure to different things, and even just the productions that got put on, and you know, they have a huge nutcracker there every year and stuff like that. Just like being very excited about orchestral music and stuff when I was young enough for it to be funny for me to be conducting along to CDs. You know?
Oh, yes. It sounded great to me, Mom.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but she just, go ahead, keep going.
Sure.
Yeah, keep going. But was anybody that you saw or learned from along the way that like, oh yeah, this is the direction I am going into?
Well, I think that for classical guitar, it was a little bit more institutionally supported, so I was able to get support from local teachers and stuff. But for the folk side, a lot of it was people that, I grew up with my dad listening to and playing Cat Stevens and Jim Croce and stuff like that. So that kind of alongside it, and some of the bluegrass stuff, he also played banjo and heard a lot about Earl Scruggs,
Yes.
So I think there was a lot of... it's hard for me to find a single point, point of reflection where I sort of bounced off it and got really excited about it, It's sort of a slower burn, I think.
And what would you describe where you're going now? I mean, you're still a young guy, as far as I can tell.
Well, I'm flattered.
You seem very young.
I'm...
Because I'm an old guy. Really old.
Well, right now I'm 28, and I graduated from grad school just before, in 2019, I moved to New York, and in 2020 I moved back down here, or to Winston again.
Was that more because of the health conditions, or was that...
It was a financial thing, because a lot of the... I had a lot of different part-time gigs teaching for after-school programs and things like that, and all that stuff dried up when the students weren't in school. So a lot of my work, 100% almost of my work dried up the second that everything locked down. So I had to
Did that make you think of, oh gosh, what else can I
What
do?
else can I do? Well, and it's interesting because now it had me pick up some other professional stuff, which has allowed me, I think, to explore more of what I'm super excited about musically, because I don't have to take gigs, every single gig anymore. I can take gigs that I'm excited about,
good.
but I do some data analysis for cancer data at a hospital remotely and things like that. So it sort of pushed me to pursue other things that I was interested in the meantime. So I now have sort of a more multifaceted career. So it definitely had its interesting, everybody I think has that what would have happened if COVID didn't happen thing in their head. But I think that was, yeah, exactly. But that was one of the effects it had on me.
Now there's a band you're involved with as well. Tell me about that.
Early Grey. We it's a duo between myself and a pianist that was at UNCSA with me for high school and college. And it was seminal for me because everyone who's an instrumentalist there and not a composer was kind of terrified of broaching the composition thing because they didn't feel like they were real composers. And so the two of us were able to kind of support each other and say, like, let's write music together so that it doesn't feel so vulnerable.
I've heard that from other people who had a problem deciding how to write and if it was good enough. And what is that challenge?
I'm also in another duo, Discount Rothko. We do more of the bluegrass side with a friend of mine.
How do you schedule everything so you're not overlapping?
Well, everybody lives in different places now, but those all came about because, Discount Rothko happened because there was a gig that needed some bluegrass stuff, and both of us went, oh, that would be fun, and then we started writing together a little bit, and collaboration is a huge ticket out of this fear of vulnerability, I think. So
how do you think you've improved over the years in your actual composition?
I don't know, you tell me. I think I feel more confident because we in master classes for classical music school, we do a lot of like not attached to self-worth nitpicking. So it's like you play on stage for a bunch of people and then they go, that part worked and that part didn't, and here's what you should do. And it's sort of a very analytical way of looking at it, which is really...
How do you not take it personally?
Well, you do for a while, and you kind of try not, you try to do sort of some
I knew
work,
that.
some
I knew that.
internal work. Yeah. Well, it's hard not to sometimes, but it's an important muscle, I think, to develop if you're excited to do that. And then, but when you're playing stuff that you've written, it introduces this whole, there's no one else to blame. If I'm playing a song that I wrote and I'm playing it and I'm singing it, there's nothing else happening. If anything goes wrong or it doesn't work, I have no one to hide behind and no one to blame. And I think it's actually kind of a good exercise to do that. I think that even as scary as it is, it's important to put yourself out there and not it's nice for me to feel like I'm not using collaborators as a crutch at a certain point.
Do you ever feel it was a clutch to you? Crutch?
I don't now, but it's sort of an irrational fear, I think, of mine. But it's so much fun to play with other people that it's sometimes it is difficult to do a show like tonight when I'm up there by myself, and I can connect with the audience, but there's something about connecting with someone else on stage with you that you're
like-minded
collaborating on. And it feels like a kind of telepathy that's really
connecting on everything.
Exciting. Yeah.
Oh wow, jeez. So where do you think you can go? Your next step? What is it? Are you looking to do something more, or elaborate on what you have done?
I like working with other artists. I like doing session work. I've been on a couple of other people's records. I like doing production work for other people and for friends. So that's a fun. I don't know that I have like a 5-year plan. Yeah. It's more like I'm really excited about this stuff, and anything that kind of scratches that itch, I think I'm gonna start chasing. The strategy and music business stuff has never come very easily to me. So
there's a lot more you need to know now, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think my goal is really just to kind of make the things that I'm really excited to make, and if one of those things gets me a gig or some notoriety, then I guess so be it.
I guess probably never understood how the music business worked back then. It was like, oh my God, you got to do this, that, and that,
Sure.
and then you got to please this person and that person and that person, and then where's my music? Where'd my music go?
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely gets. I mean, it's fun to make connections that are genuine and have people that you like and collaborate with them. And that does happen without sort of the strategizing, I think.
So who's got the business sense? What do you have anything scheduled for? I mean, the winter lean months, I guess, probably now.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I don't have anything on the books right now other than finishing an EP that I'm hopefully gonna finish.
You didn't bring anything to sell.
I did not
You
bring
have to.
anything
You have
to
to bring
sell.
things to sell.
No keychains tonight.
Oh man, come on. Now, is that a thing you're thinking about?
No, it's sort of a tongue-in-cheek joke. I think since a lot of actual musical media doesn't sell super well anymore because everyone's streaming, a lot of artists have non-musical merch like hats and stuff,
Yeah.
which is great. But I don't, because I don't tend to sell a whole lot
I
of
don't.
stuff.
I like to feel it in my hand.
Yeah.
Streaming fun is you want to listen to it while you're driving down the road or whatever.
Right.
But I want to see it in my room. There we go. There's all my stuff up against the wall. All
Yeah.
titles out. I know it's there.
Yeah.
But of course, I do take it and put it on some device or something so I can hear it when
Sure.
I want to. But knowing that you have it
Mm-hmm.
in your hand, I know that's something about, I guess, being old. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, I like CDs because my car's too old to have an auxiliary jack.
Okay,
So I
okay.
listen to, and there's something nice about being forced to listen to an album.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
It's a nice exercise to kind of say, this will happen front to back, right? I'm going to listen through this album in the way that the artist put it in order.
Is that
for
how you
me.
put yours together? Is there a purpose? Is there a point?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
there like a real order
Yes.
to it?
Yeah, there always is. At least for me, I think it's not so much a collection as an experience. I try to order. I don't necessarily write things with the idea that they are part of a
Okay.
bigger thing, but
Not originally.
I think that, right, not originally, but once it gets to the point of putting together the album, it is definitely. I mean, thinking about exactly how much space you want between songs and stuff is big.
And the ending, beginning.
Mhm.
Is there some kind of thought to how it's going to sound?
Yeah, I mean, I think it really is just kind of an intuition thing when you get into a mastering studio or when you're finally bouncing the last ones you add. If you're, you just kind of listen to the end of one song and then you
Boom.
decide when you want the next one to start and put it there.
Because if it really works, it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's astounding.
Oh.
I mean, there are songs on the radio that they always play next to each other because that's just how it works on the route.
Some AI did it, I'm sure. That's scary to me. That's going to be a thing.
Oh, well,
And
I think it's the future of technology is always a little bit unnerving.
scary at first. Yeah, but it'll work out. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I want to thank you very much for being here
Thank you.
and
I
helping out.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.